second here, and we're going to get started. So, hi everybody, Dr. Kerry Yerkew here. I am the founder of True North Practice Management, and I started this company to help health professionals like you, doctors and therapists that want to do better in practice. And this is my 30th year of practice. I'm still learning, still figuring out better ways to manage my practice, but I've also had a lot of experience and a lot of help along the way from business coaches, consultants. I've worked in over 80 clinics myself as a locum doctor and a consultant. I've had my own clinics for 25 of the 30 years that I've been practicing. So I've learned a lot about the business side of running a practice. And the practices that I've had have been multidisciplinary settings. So not only have I had chiropractors and therapists and other doctors in my clinic, but I've had different products and different services that we've had to offer. So it's a really diverse experience that I've had. What I want to teach you today is why retention matters. So why should you focus on patient retention, and how that's very valuable to your practice. So, when you work so hard to acquire new patients and new clients, you want to make sure that they stay satisfied, they're happy with your care, you meet and exceed their expectations. And a satisfied client, they could be a lifelong client in your clinic. They're going to refer others. It's going to make your job easier, and it's going to also be very rewarding and fulfilling to you because they're like family. Patients become like family over time, and it's really kind of nice to have those patients and then their spouses and their children and parents coming to see you. So the first thing I want you to understand is patient retention, and that's what is patient retention. And that's when you have a patient come to your office and you're going to find out what their needs are. You're going to make sure that they're getting better, that their health is improving. You're going to talk to them about ways that they can improve their health on their own, empower them, educate them. You're going to offer them products that are going to support their recovery, and then you're going to encourage them to lead a healthier lifestyle down the road. So that's all part of patient care, not just what you do for them in the clinic, but also the support that you're giving them. You and your team are giving them between visits and long-term for checkups and follow-ups. So that's very important. The other thing that is important with loyal clientele is it's going to be more consistent revenue stream for you. So the more stable and consistent the office is, the better it is for you to make decisions going forward, decisions like making budgets for your spending for the months to come, how you can upgrade your clinic, the salaries that you're going to pay, even your own salary. So it's very important for you to have a stable patient base for revenue flows. So you want to create a memorable patient experience. So what constitutes a memorable patient experience? Well, I would say, when you think about going to a doctor's office yourself, what do you expect? Well, when you come in the office, you want to be greeted. You want to be directed to the right place. You want to be reassured that with the procedure that you're going to receive that day, you want somebody to explain the procedure, to get consent for the procedure from you. So you want to be empowered. And I think what's really important too is the reassurance that you're going to get, not just from the doctor or the therapist, from the staff too. You want to make sure that the charges, what the charges are for the services. You want to understand what your insurance is paying for. You also want to understand what the copayment is. So, if you have a copayment, what that is up front, and whether you're going to be charged at the end of that service, or, there's going to be a charge on your credit card afterward for the copay. So all very important. And there's a number of different procedures that you can implement to make sure the patient's experience is satisfactory. And then you go above and beyond the call of duty so that you are providing an exceptional experience to the patient. And I've worked with several clinics over the years to provide exceptional service. Many of the clients that I've had are high achievers. They are interested in improving their practice. They're like a sponge. They want to get the knowledge of what they can do to improve, and they're really implementing change, monitoring the change, keeping statistics to see how the changes are affecting their practice. So I've been really privileged to work with a lot of clients that have had really high achieving clinics. So that's very important too. But also I want to remind you that little changes can make a big impact. So, if you review the flow of patients and if you review your procedures, you can make small changes that can really make a big difference in your practice. So you really want to monitor the steps. You want to provide training to your staff so that they can help you to implement those changes you're making in your clinic. And of course, a coach, like a consultant, is very important too, because coaches can save you the time and effort of making mistakes. I've certainly made my mistakes over my career, had to learn from them. But without a coach or a consultant, you're going to have to go through the school of hard knocks. And the school of hard knocks is, learning from mistakes. And it just takes a lot longer to get to where you want to be. But if you have a coach or a consultant, they're going to shorten that learning curve. They're going to help you to learn and implement changes in a shorter period of time. They're going to lend their experience to you, and things are going to go a lot better. Now, some things you can do to improve your practice, and these things are very important. You want to get patient feedback. So when I talk about feedback, you could do a survey. One of the things I like to use in the clinic is the progress exam form actually has some questions on it. So the progress exam form asks the patient for their feedback on the experience. So what is that like? Is the patient satisfied with your care? Would they leave you a 5-star review? So basically, you want to ask the patient those questions when you're doing reviews or regular forms. So for us, when we do a progress examination, that's where we're going to ask questions about the satisfaction that the patient has. It's also good, on the first visit or two, to have your staff follow up with the patient and just say, what was your experience like? Are you happy with the care? Do you have any questions? This just kind of keeps the lines of communication open, keeps the clinic very transparent, and that's very important too. You're going to analyze this data, so you want to collect it, you want to analyze it, and now with AI and ChatGPT, very easy to analyze data, to feed the data into the AI and get out the results that you're looking for. So we like to use ChatGPT as an assistant in the clinic, and you can use a number of different tools to help you to analyze your data that you're receiving through the feedback. And then, there's a number of case studies of different clients that have implemented changes over the years and really been able to achieve much better results, And the way I think about that is, you want to serve your community at a higher level. So not only do you want to do better business-wise, but I think it's important to serve more people in your community and look at it like a higher calling. Ultimately, when you are driven to serve at a higher level, it's going to drive you to kind of feel good about the work you're doing, the impact you're making on your community, and that's kind of the direction we want to go with our clients. Is what impact are you making on your community, and what type of level of service are you providing for your patients? Now, for engagement strategies, what can you do to help people? And there's different types of engagement strategies. There's digital ones, personal ones, community-based engagement strategies. So we'll be doing a webinar actually coming up soon on digital marketing mastery for doctors and therapists. So if you're interested in what you can do digitally, there's a number of things you can do to help um, implement changes in your clinic to gather data and communicate better with your patients. There's a lot of personal communication tools that you can use in between staff members to serve patients better. So just the way you note take, the way you communicate between practice members, the method of communication, whether it's digital or analog, you're writing notes or you have slips or chart notes. That's all very important so that everybody's on the same page. You know, if you're going to have different patients with different types of conditions, so just making sure that all the data is there, that it's summarized, that it's very easy to access, that you're prepared for your patients. One of the things I like to do here in the clinic is have a staff meeting just before and just after the shift. So basically, just going through the afternoon or the day, looking at the patients that are coming in, what their specific needs are, what type of service you're going to provide, what type of follow-up is necessary, and just making sure the team, we're all on the same page for the type of service that we're providing. And then at the end of the day, how did things go? Is there anything that needs to improve? Are there any special circumstances that we need to cover? So definitely you want to have good communication and engagement strategies with your patients, and then you can implement those either digitally using text messages, email, phone calls, email, like an email newsletter, all very important follow-up processes for your patients. Then you want to measure the success of engagement strategies. And I like to use a spreadsheet for that, have some tracking, and to see what you did in terms of communicating with the patients. Are there any new procedures you implemented? And then how did those new procedures do? Did it make a bigger difference for those patients on the spreadsheet that did get that new procedure versus the ones that didn't? And sometimes you can split test new procedures. And what I mean by that is you can A/B test. You can keep things the same for some patients and then try a new procedure for communication or follow-up with another group of patients. And then that way you can test the A group versus the B group. And that's called the split test. Now, if you have any questions, I'm going to check over here in the Google chat. You can ask your questions here. I'm just going to type in there. And if you're on Twitter, I don't think you guys can ask a question right now on Twitter, but you can always ask one after. You can comment or you can send a DM. So feel free to do that. If you have any questions, I'm just checking in on the YouTube chat right now, see if there's any live questions, and I'd be happy to answer those for you. So I'll just keep an eye on that. Now I wanted to review what we covered today, and that is that patient retention is very important for a practice, and it should be top of mind to keep your patients happy, to have them coming back to you for follow-ups, to referring others to your practice so you grow your practice. All very important steps in the health of a practice and a healthcare business. You want to train your staff, you want to keep everybody empowered so you're communicating, you're providing the best possible care for your patients and also for your community too. So just serving people at a higher level in your community, like your mission and vision for the type of work you're doing. So I like to look at it like, we have a higher level of service that we're providing to our patients. The other thing that we covered is different communication strategies, whether they be digital or analog. So are we taking chart notes? Are we reviewing the schedule before and after? Are we communicating on devices in the clinic so we can better serve the patient? Are we following up with patients via text or email? to see how they're doing after their visits. Very important. And also on the intake, when you have a new patient booking in the clinic, what are the forms like? Are they easy to fill out? Can the patient do it in advance? Can you get their insurance information to check their insurance before they come for their visit? The more you can do to serve the patient and to assist them with the visit to make it a very easy experience, the more they're going to come back to your clinic and refer others. So that's very important too. And then, implementing change, like improving your procedures, improving the services and the products that you offer, that requires some feedback from patients. A good way to do that is surveys, and just doing surveys either when the patient comes in for follow-up visits. You could also send out a text survey or an email survey to the patients. That's a really good way to stay in touch and to get some feedback from the patient on how you can improve. So I want to thank you guys for joining me for this webinar today. There is one coming up, and that is in a couple weeks, and I'm going to share that with you in a second. If you want to join our mailing list, go to our website, trueexpert.pro, and what you can do is join our mailing list, and you're going to get updates with new webinars coming up, any coaching offers, any master classes that we're going to do. So feel free to join our mailing list. We do blog on a regular basis almost every day. So you can follow our blog on our website. Go to trueexpert.pro and then go to the blog tab, and you can see all the blog posts that we're doing. Usually they revolve around these topics. So we've been blogging about retention for over a week now, and you'll get different perspectives on things you can do for patient retention. We are on Substack. I like to write articles on Substack, so please follow us on Substack. And then if you're interested in a free 15-minute coaching call, I'm offering that right now for a limited time. And I'm the one doing the coaching, so you can sign up for that by clicking on the link in this in the show notes, or the link in the bio if you're on social media. So feel free to take advantage of that 15-minute free coaching call. If you have any direct questions, you can DM me or you can comment. Be happy to answer those questions. And I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Please join me on Tuesday, May 21st. That's coming up in a couple weeks. And I'm going to be talking about digital mastery for doctors and therapists. We're going to be talking about ways you can market your services in your practice, both internally and externally, using digital tools like PDFs, like text messages, like webinars, webinars like this one that are streaming live on YouTube and on X. So I'm going to talk about how you can use changes and developments in technology, especially digital ones, and then how that can improve your practice and your communication. So please join me. Tickets are free, but they are limited. And if you go to Eventbrite, you can get a ticket for that event. I'll put a link in the show notes to Eventbrite and one in the bio as well. So again, thank you for joining me today. Really appreciate you being here, and we will talk to you guys soon.